Welcome everybody to the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting for Thursday, February 4th. In attendance so far is Alex DeFrancisco, Trish Mays, and myself, Harry Dulac. Let me just take a scroll through and make sure there's nobody else. Ron and Bill didn't get there yet? Okay.
Oh, Bill's, I'm gonna let him in.
Okay. There he is. Hi, Bill. Bill, are you on?
I am.
Okay, good. And also here is member Bill Gaudenzi. All right. So there's four of us, and also Ron was trying to get in, so we'll see what happens with there. But the first order of business are the meeting minutes from January 21st. Everybody who's on right now was at the meeting, the previous meeting. So if you could take a look at it, if you already have, and you'd like to make a motion, please do.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, sure.
So I looked at it. It kind of says it, but it doesn't necessarily say it to the extent. I tried to clarify with that person from the Connecticut Ag, because she made the great comment. I felt that once the Ag Commission is reconvened, she made the really strong case that it should, she specifically said that it should be the Ag Commission, Economic Development, P&Z members, and residential members that should work on this. And we kind of say it, but we don't say it explicitly that way. And I think it was important, and that's why I actually made the comment at the end to kind of reinforce that. I think for me, it'd be helpful to add that.
Bill, do you mean the part where it says Joan Nichols, executive director, when she was making that comment?
So, well, she made the comment, but then I think it's under Trish. It's under, let me see where it says it. Somewhere it just mentions that we'll get a group of people together, and it just says the Ag Commission and I think maybe some residents or something. So it doesn't explicitly state those four groups, and I thought it was important that we state that, because I thought that was a great comment she made. And again, if you remember at the end of the meeting, I had asked, because I didn't know who made that comment. I explicitly asked who made that comment, and then we restated that it was those four groups were important groups. So when we reconvened to go through this farm events regulation, I felt strongly we should make sure those four groups are represented.
So, I mean, Bill, on page 2, the second paragraph from the top, it says Town Planner Duquesne. It says member may suggest having meetings and discussions with the Agricultural Commission, farmers, and neighbors. Is that where? Do you want to make a change?
Yeah,
there?
Sorry, that's exactly where it was. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you? She explicitly stated those four groups, and that kind of resonated with me, and I mentioned it at the end of the meeting. Well, Trish did.
No, I had made the comment, and I didn't recall exactly who made the initial comment, but it was Mrs. Nichols made the comment, and I said I felt that was important what she said, that she explicitly listed those four groups. Could be more groups. Right. But she explicitly said the Ag Commission, Economic Development, Planning and Zoning, and residents.
Okay.
Agreed. Yeah, you kind of had the last piece of verbiage there that you reiterated that.
Yep.
I remember
All right.
that.
So where do you want to add this? And what exactly do you want to add?
It's fine that on that page 2 where it talks about Trish made the comment, or what, that second paragraph, I think we just add, it says Ag Commission, farmers, neighbors, but it should be Ag Commission, P&Z, Economic Development, and residents, and farmers and neighbors too.
Okay.
But it should list those other three groups.
Okay. So, so if somebody can make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Well, here, there's other changes too.
Okay.
Bill, was that all on that first hearing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Any other comments or concerns on that first hearing?
No, not from me.
Okay. If we're done on that, on the old business part, on the new business part, of the minutes of the 21st, the first part after the first paragraph after bullet point A, that starts with Jim Preddy. I didn't see it in there, but there's some details left out there. The only thing that I saw that was really missing was the excavation part of how the all like the extra excavation would be moved over to a different site for a future town plan. I figure with all of that being moved there and everything, it should just be with there as a review of that.
So what do you want to add exactly, Alex?
Just like a sentence on that detail, like how Jim mentioned when we were asking the questions on the topography and everything like that, how all the extra soil that was being excavated was just moving to another piece of the town property, to another site.
So how do you want that exactly worded?
Just in the details. I think it was in that description. I think it is in regards to actually one of my questions I did. So if you want to even add it after member D. Francesco inquired, I think that was one of the questions I inquired right before the stoplight one about the excavation of the dirt, where it was going. It was just being moved. To my recollection, Jim said it was being moved to another site across the street. That was only that part there. And then the only other part that I saw for new business was the initial vote. Should say the original vote was 4-0-1.
Alex, you can't abstain in the middle of a vote.
No. This is just a recountance of the.
Yeah, but that doesn't need to be changed. That was just a procedural error on your part, so that's fine. It doesn't need to be.
No, Mr. Chair, that wasn't a procedural error on my part.
Yeah.
I voted the way it was, and then it was changed afterwards.
You can't vote that way. That's not allowed.
No, you can by Robert's rules. It's just it was changed afterwards.
You can't abstain. It's a yes or no vote. So I mean, you want to put it in there, fine. I mean, but you can't vote. You can't abstain from a vote. You can abstain from being part of the application and the vote in total. If there's a reason if you announce it up front, or if one of the other members say there might be a potential how do you want to say it?
Mr. Chair, what you're referring to would be recusing. That'd be at the start.
Right, but you can't abstain from a vote without your reason. The reason why you didn't want to vote for it because you said it was because there was
there's too many topics being considered, so there's no way.
So you should vote yes or no. It's not. You can't. It's a yes or no vote. Okay. So I mean, if you want to put that in there, go ahead. All right, you can put it in there.
It's your. By Robert's rules, you're allowed to do yes, no, or abstain, but that's here, no, there.
Yes.
If you want clarification, ask the town attorney.
Alex, if there's a reason for you to abstain, but you weren't abstaining because of an issue with you, you were abstaining because of something you didn't like in the plan. If you thought that part, because there was, we were approving it with a couple outstanding comments, that's a no vote. That's not an abstain. You don't abstain from that. That's a no vote. You bring that up to the commission. You bring that up to the commission and say, this is an issue I have with this application. And then we have that discussion. And you don't abstain. You vote no because you want a full site plan with all the things in there. And that's perfectly understandable. And if you vote yes or no on that, we can take this offline. I can teach you about the abstaining from a vote another time. But if you want to add that in there, please just tell us where it needs to go.
All right. This is a recount of minutes, regardless of whatever. So it's just recording what is.
Just tell us where you need to
Okay.
put them in there.
So it should be, if anything happened, like if Trish said something, like how Bill said, added, it's just recounting.
Alex, these are summary of minutes. If you want the exact meeting, you can go online and look at it. And it's also being recorded. So if you need that added in there, please explain to us where you want it added in there, what you want it to say.
It just should say right before where the count of the vote is, where it says seconded by member DeFrancesco, passed 5-0. A line should be right before there. Original vote was 4-0-1, and then it was requested by the chair that the vote should be changed, and then final was 5-0.
But it was never, the 401 was never passed, so we need to be clear on that.
That's what I just said. It was originally and then requested to change.
There was a vote, one vote, there was a vote that was abstained that requested to be changed to a yes or no vote. That's what it should be. Okay. If we can add that in there. If somebody likes to make a motion to amend the minutes, unless there's any more changes, if somebody would like to make a motion to amend the minutes, approve the amended minutes.
I make a motion to approve the amended minutes from January 21st, 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor? Trish?
Yes.
Alex?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you very much. That passes forward. Oh, wait, I forgot Ron. Ron's back.
Ron, yeah,
I'm
Ron.
sorry, Ron. I didn't see you.
I just dropped in late on the discussion, so
Right. You can abstain from that if you want to.
yeah, I think I should, because I just heard the last three lines, and I figured there was a lot before that.
Okay. So that passes 4-0 and Ron abstains. Thank you. All right, let's see. Our first order of business is a public hearing for application 2021-2, temporary special use. Kurt, we'll start with you.
Did someone need to read the legal notice?
Oh, yes, yep. Trish, would you like to read the legal notice?
Notice is hereby given that the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a virtual public hearing at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, February 4th, 2021, that can be accessed via Zoom to consider the following: application 2021-2, temporary special use request under Section 43 and Section 23, Schedule A, use line D1, for grading and placement of soil and fill on property located at Forest Road, Tutucket Mountain, and Forest Road Rare. Owner Tilcon Inc., applicant James Preddy, PE, Criscolo Engineering.
In attendance for this public hearings are regular members Mace, DeFrancisco, Sienna, Galdenzi, and Dulac. All right. Now, Kurt, it's over to you.
Okay, just briefly, little housekeeping. We do have comments from the, I don't know if do you want a presentation from the applicant first, or me to go through the referrals and the like?
Oh, I prefer a presentation.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe if Jim Preddy gave a presentation on the proposal, then I can come back with what we received today.
That we have a kind of an overview and a sense of what we're even looking at before we get referrals.
All right, I'm going to, give me a minute. I'm going to try to set it up so Jim can share.
In the meantime, Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering, representing Tilcon Minerals Inc. here. This is the property that we had come in back in April or May to rezone the two parcels that they own north of the quarry parcel. And, after some discussion with some concerned neighbors about quarrying activities on those properties, that was denied. And at the suggestion of, at the meeting, I don't remember who, and staff, subsequent to the meeting, we're now back to do just a special use permit without changing the zone on those two properties. Basically just to place overburden soils from areas that they've already been approved to mine on the main property. So again, there's no expansion of any mining activities past what they've already gotten approved. It's just to basically pile the overburden dirt, and then it will get seeded and with conservation mix, and it'll be just a bigger hill than what's there now. I could show the plan, hopefully.
Hold on one second. I think I got it.
You see that?
Yeah, now we got it.
Okay. So I'm a little out of my depth here. I'm using a different computer. So these are the two properties that are north of the Tilcon property. This is the north tip of their quarrying property. What the plan is to build basically a bigger hill than what's there now. If you could see kind of the existing contours underneath, there's a kind of a ridge that runs right through the middle of this property, right through here. So we're just looking to basically pile up on that hill, this overburdened soil, basically not changing any of the drainage patterns because we're holding the ridge that's there now, more or less. So the stuff that flows to the west will still flow to the west. The water that flows to the east will still flow to the east. There's obviously a wetland here on the east side, and there's some slope here and another wetland just off screen here. The site will be ringed with a wood chip berm that will encompass basically the whole activity area, which is outside of the 100-year buffer. The 100-year wetland buffer will be staked out prior by my survey team, so they will know exactly where they are out there. And that's it. The runoff shouldn't change because it's vegetated now, and it'll be vegetated after the seed mix grows in. Obviously there'll be a lag, like with any construction project, but that's it. Again, there's no additional mining activities. It's just placement of soil.
I think, let me just clarify, you said I think the 100-year something, you meant the 100-foot upland review area?
Yes.
Okay. So can you, can you describe, like what, I understand what is this? It's overburden from mining.
No, so before they mine, they need to take there's, in some cases, 6-7 feet of soil on top of the rock that they mine.
Gotcha.
And this is just the soil that they need to move out of the way, basically.
Generally, some topsoil and just
topsoil and some loam and then some sands and gravels, right?
Yep. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. All right, I got another, this is really just an instant question. With so much, industrial zone property that they own, why do you need this area here? There's no other space on your property, on this property?
Chris can probably speak to that better than I can, but the mining activities is at this end of the quarry. To move this literally is more than a mile away to other areas on their site that they could pilot on. They own these properties. They bought many years ago with this thought in mind. So it makes the most sense.
Okay. Chris, do you have any comments to that, or that's
No, Jim's correct on that.
okay?
And we save this material because at end of life, it'll be refilled with the original material. So,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
there's nowhere else on the site we can put this.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions from the commission? Kurt, do you have any comments?
Yeah, so let me just go through. We did receive comments from Ron Walters of the Regional Water Authority that may or may not have been in your packet. I can run through it briefly. Dear Mr. Weiss, regarding grading and filling plan for Tilcon Inc., the Regional Water Authority has reviewed the above referenced proposal. The parcel is within the Farm River Public Water Supply watershed. The applicant is proposing to grade 14.6 acre site for the placement of mining overburden. Site will be surrounded with a wood chip berm. Wetlands are located to the east and west of the site and are at least 100 feet from any disturbance. The fill material will be seeded. Based on the information submitted, we have the following comments. 1, erosion control should be installed prior to any site work. Controls should be inspected weekly and after each rainfall. Additional controls should be stored on site for any necessary repairs, and the site should be stabilized once finished grade is reached. Item 2, the RWA should be notified at least 3 days prior to any site work. We should be given access to the site for routine inspections. They can be reached at rwater@rwater.com. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on this application. If you have any questions, please email me. Again, that's Ron Waters, Senior Environmental Analyst for the Regional Water Authority. I have comments dated January 14th. Following our engineering staff comments based upon submitted plans. Indicated erosion control measures should be installed and maintained prior to any disturbance and remain until the disturbed area is stabilized. And erosion control measures should be inspected and repaired after significant rainfall events of 1 inch or greater. Comment from billing department. Basically, there is no comment. That's it for referrals. I can add, I did receive a comment, an email today from Meg Graustein. Maybe I can read it if you'd like.
Kurt, Meg's actually on the call.
She's on. We could let her speak.
Yeah.
I'm happy to read it. Yeah.
Oh, wait, Meg, hang on 1 second. Just before.
Let me just back up one thing, which she notes in there in the email that she didn't receive any notification of it prior to the hearing. She said, I own property abutting the Tilcon parcel. I just learned of the public hearing for the special use application yesterday from a friend. Otherwise, there were some concerns earlier. I was not notified by the town of this public hearing. I was under the impression that I should have been due to the fact that my property abuts the Tilcon property. The property, Meg is listed as receiving under the certified mailing list provided by the applicant. Her name is on there with the mailing that it was mailed to her. So I can't speak to that, but it's listed on the certificate of mailing that having been mailed. It has a West Haven address, and that's how the property was listed on the land records.
I live at 7 Stabrook Way. I live on the land, so I don't know. I got the last one in May, but I did not receive one this time.
Okay, I'm looking, like I said, I looked at the certificate of mailing, and you are listed. It was a West Haven address.
Nope. My address is 7 Stabrook Way. I've never lived in West Haven.
That's what they have listed on the certificate of mailing.
Actually,
Anyway.
Kurt, it's New Haven. The town information says 43 Avon Street, New Haven.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wrong about that.
I have not lived there in over a year. I've lived in Northford this whole time, and I received the letter in May that you all sent about that meeting. So I'm not sure who I need to clarify that with or change that with, if that's the town, but my taxes and everything come here too. So.
Okay. But anyway, there was a letter with comments from Meg. I don't know if you'd like to let her read it or address.
Yeah, I was gonna open up.
When you're ready to open up to the public
Yeah.
hearing.
So I was gonna, Kurt, do you have any more comments for any other staff or departments?
That's pretty much for comments.
Okay.
Harry.
So, if anybody would like to speak on this application for this public hearing, if you could email if you can use your chat feature and let the town, Kurt, under the town planner, know that you want to speak, and then he can unmute you. So, Kurt, I'll leave that up to you. If you see somebody pop in the chat to you to unmute, and then once you're unmuted and like to speak, please also give your name and your address, please.
Hey, Harry, it's Ron.
Yeah, yes, Ron.
Oh, while Kurt's doing that, a question I have is is the ridge line that originally was there, is that height going to increase, or is just the width of the mound going to increase?
Oh, no, the height is increasing. I mean, that's the point of the activity, is to place soil there so the mound will get higher.
Okay, what's the height now, and what will it be at the end? I apologize. I see the map, and I don't know if this is the finished product or were we
Yeah,
the
so
end results.
the darker lines were the proposed contours. So at the very peak of it, it is about 40 feet higher, but it tapers off as it goes down. It's not 40 feet, it's just in the center.
Yeah, the map I have that has boxes. At the top, it's 470, and at the bottom, it's 415.
Correct. So the 415 is where we're kind of blending back to grade. But in the center, if you look in the existing contours underneath, there's a 430 under there. So it is 40 feet of change in the center. But all around the outside, we're back where I'm stopping the grading is where we're blending, basically.
Yes, I understand the blending and the contouring down. But the question is, what is the actual height of the ridge before you start, and what will the height in feet be when it's finished?
It's 430 existing and 470 proposed.
Thank you.
All right. Kurt, do you have anybody that likes to speak that popped up?
I haven't got anything on the chat. Like I said, the one I know
Okay.
is Meg Graustein. She sent the letter.
Yeah, let's unmute Meg and
Okay.
Meg, do you want to speak, or do you want just Kurt to read your comments?
I'm happy to read the comments, and then I have one or two other things
Okay,
to add to it.
perfect.
Also, I'm not sure if people who are just called in won't have the chat feature, so they may not be able to get in touch with Kurt.
Yeah, once we get through the chat feature, then I'll ask anybody that's on the phone to do that. So if you could just do your name and address and then
Harry?
your comments, please.
Harry, if I can add, we do have a provision if someone can't chat or wants to send a comment, they could email it, or they could go to public comments at townofnorthbranfordct.com, and that's public with a capital P dash comments with a capital C at townofnorthbranfordct.com. That'll come to me, and I can read them if we get any.
Oh, good. Thank you, Kurt.
Other means.
Thank you.
Quick comment, Meg, before you begin, to the other commission members. Did Carrie say something last meeting that she has to enable the chat feature? I'm not a technology person, but
Yeah.
if anybody remembers, speak up. If not, I guess I'm wrong.
Why don't I'll try to put one in there maybe.
It worked, but I chatted to Kurt and he got it.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, okay, good. I thought
Perfect.
Carrie might not have
Right now, it's enabled just
Okay.
to Kurt.
No, wait a minute. Let me
That way, only Kurt sees the chat.
pause.
Okay.
Yep.
At least we know it's working.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, perfect. All right, Meg,
Okay.
the screen is yours.
Thank you. My name's Meg Graustein, or Margaret Graustein. I live at 7 Stairbrook Way in Northford. So this is the letter I wrote, and then I have one or two comments after that. So, Dear North Branford Planning and Zoning Committee, I'm writing to express my concern for Tilcon's application for special use permit application number 2021-2 on the property located at Forest Road, Totucket Mountain, and Forest Road Rear. I understand that this was a compromise from Tilcon's original request to have the parcels rezoned as industrial I-1, but I'm extremely worried about the impact of grading and placing soil and fill will have on the environment. The water from Totucket Mountain flows down the ridge onto property I own and then flows through multiple neighbors' properties and eventually into the Farm River. I reviewed the Forest Road Totucket Mountain Site Plan PZ number 2021-2 document. The proposed increased elevation changes by adding soil and fill will have a drastic impact on water runoff and flow along the ridge and then through the surrounding wetlands. I acknowledge they plan to install a 3-inch high wood chip berm and to have finished grade be seeded with erosion control mix, but what happens in the meantime and if the berm is breached? The streams and wildlife will be negatively impacted. The sediment runoff will change the water quality for the worse. Can Tilcon move the soil and fill to another location on their One Forest Road property or move it off-site to an area that is already zoned I-1? I will attach a copy of the Metacomet Ridge Conservation Compact that I was sent today. It was signed by the North Branford Conservation Commission in 1998. I understand that this document may not hold much, if any, legal ground, but it shows the joint effort by many residents from many towns to preserve as much of the Metacomet Ridge and environment as possible. And I ask that the Planning and Zoning Committee keep that in mind when making their decision about the special use permit. I'm assuming that Tilcon is looking to place soil and fill on these parcels so they can blast/mine the newly, as of May 2020, rezoned I-1 sections of One Forest Road. This also concerns me for the well-being of mine and my neighbors' houses and properties. Almost all of us have cracks in our houses or foundations, and if the blasting continues north, I worry about the safety of our houses and wells. I understand that Tilcon has every right to blast on One Forest Road, and we, the residents, will feel the impacts of that zoning change that has already been made. I ask that the Planning and Zoning Committee to deny Tilcon's request for special use on the property located at Forest Road, Totucket Mountain, and Forest Road Rear, so we will not have to deal with any added impacts. And the two other quick comments I wanted to add was that I understand that the water is still going to go into Lake Gaillard and via my stream, which feeds into the Farm River, into Lake Saltonstall. But there's already evidence of sediment, heavy sediment in the Farm River all the way down to its estuary. And that's from Save the Sound's Unified Water Study. And that a 3-inch wood chip berm does not do much to stop sediment spreading. And that really does have a huge impact on water quality. I spent a lot of time studying water quality and sediment transport in college. And so this is something I'm pretty passionate about and pretty concerned that even though it's a 40-foot elevation increase, that's actually quite drastic in the rate of flow and how things move. And One Forest Road is a giant property, and yes, it would be a pain for them to have to truck it a mile or more, but I would really encourage the town to see this from the people who live near here. And it was already rezoned I-1, that one section that's now going to be blasted, and we're feeling those impacts and will be feeling those impacts. And this is one more impact that has the potential to change our property and how we enjoy the area that we live in. Thank you.
Is there anybody else, Kurt, that would like to speak? Anybody else pop up?
Oh, nobody
Real
popped
quick
up.
before we move on, I had a quick question for Meg, just to clarify with one of the
Sure.
statements that she said. In the letter that you read, it caught my ear real quick, and then I think you just clarified it again. You said 3-inch high berm, or was that supposed to be 3 feet? Because
What she said, but it's 3 foot on the plan.
It's 3 foot. Oh, sorry. On what I was able to look at, it looked like 3-inch. And that's why I was extremely concerned, because that would do nothing.
okay. So
I agree.
So Jim, you just clarified that the berm's 3 feet.
That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, because from your presentation and this, I was confused.
Thank you for that clarification. And my concerns still stand that sediment can get through. And if there is a breach, that it does impact all of us that live downhill of that.
Thank you. Kurt, was there anybody else?
That's it. I don't have any more.
All right, I don't see anybody on the phone. Jim or the applicant, would like to respond to Meg's comments?
Jim Preddy again. Yeah, just a couple of things. I did, as she said it, I did circle it. We do have 3 foot high wood chip berm on the plan, so which makes the to be 3 foot high, it makes the base about 6 feet wide. So in terrain that's not even, it's been my experience that the wood chip berm actually works better, because then it actually stays in place, kind of goes through the rotting process, and it becomes like kind of a permanent erosion control. Granted that, like any erosion control, it needs to be inspected and maintained on a regular basis while activity is going on, but eventually to become part of what stays there. I've kind of already explained how our divide line, our ridge line is more or less in the same location of the original ridge line. So the water directions are still going in the same. We're not trying to divert any water from one place to another. The whole bottom of her, the last paragraph about rezoning and more blasting, and I actually don't understand any of that, because nothing got rezoned. That was denied in May. And the blasting, if as she mentioned before, that she's been at that address for a year. The blasting that they have approved was approved at their 5-year plan before she moved into this area. So it's not anything new. We're not adding any blasting here. So if I suppose if in the short term, if Kurt felt that we needed silt fence in addition to the wood chip berm in the beginning of it, I imagine Tilcon would be amenable to that. But we felt like the wood chip berm would suffice, and quite honestly, they'll have extra that they could use to fill in where they need to if there's a problem.
Yeah. So I wondered that too, because I noticed it on the police station project too. At first, I didn't know what it was, and I realized what it was, and then, quite frankly, this is the second time I've seen this, but I don't see a lot of projects. So I'm so used to silt fencing. So is this good This is a new good engineering practice, maybe more sustainable? Sustainable, or like what is this?
Yeah, Jim Preddy again, Bill.
Yeah.
So at the police department, they took those trees down and they had the material to use, so they used it, and then they used silt fence where they didn't have more material. Silt fence works, but it, like anything else, there's if you don't maintain it, it doesn't work. And silt fence needs to be watched a little more closely than a wood chip berm is. It's a little more forgiving. Doesn't get knocked down, for instance. The wind doesn't take it, so it's kind of a more stable type of platform. And if you have the material available, why not use it?
Yeah, gotcha. My question was more so it's still considered good engineering practice.
Yeah,
It's an
I think it
acceptable-
is. And especially if you have the material from the site to use, because the last thing I think you want to do, especially given, some of the insect problems that have popped up in the last couple of years, would be take wood chips from one site and take it to another site.
Yeah, true. So Kurt, are you familiar with the use of wood chip? Yeah?
Yeah, we've used it. They work very good. They're
Good.
generally stable. And then like Jim said, if you have it available, that's what makes it doable.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, it'd be silt fence. But again, if you have the native supply, you have the wood chips available. It's a very good use and very functional.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And just to add on to that, Jim, I think you mentioned during your presentation, you said the berms were going to be like 6 feet wide in order to make them 3 feet tall.
Correct. I mean, that's just
Give or take.
kind of normal piling standards. It ends up being about twice as wide as it is high.
So these things are pretty substantial. So
Absolutely.
you need like a giant flood to take one of these out, essentially, compared to a silt fence that, like when we've been having, could easily just take out.
Correct.
Okay.
Again, the important thing is maintenance. Inspection. I mean, it's in my memo and in the Regional Water Authority's memo. Regular inspection and regular maintenance. You got to keep on it.
Correct.
I would like anybody from the public would like to speak. Anybody else? We'll give that a second to hang there. In the meantime, there'll be the last chance for the public. If you want to make a comment, please through the chat feature. Reach out, send a message to the town planner, Kurt. But otherwise, in the meantime, does any other commissioners have any comments? Trish, Ron, good. All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Kurt, did you see anything else pop up on the chat?
No.
Okay.
No chat, no email.
Okay. So would somebody, Jim, is there anything or the applicant, anything you'd like to add before we close the public hearing?
I don't think so. I think we've answered all the questions, so we're set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would somebody like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
Go ahead. I make a motion to close the public hearing.
And that was Bill. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on closing the public hearing? We have everything we need? Bill, how do you vote to close the public hearing?
I vote yes to close the public hearing.
Trish?
Yes.
Alex? You're on mute.
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. The public hearing is closed. Okay. So, let's see. So the next order of business on this would be, okay. So, next order of business would be possible action on this. So, Kurt, do you have a motion?
Yes, there's the draft motion for consideration.
Can you share it on the screen, please?
Hold on. Let's see what I can do.
Because I don't think I have, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Bear with me.
Okay.
Well,
So,
yeah, that's it. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Good job, Kurt.
All right, so before we start any discussion, would somebody like to make a motion to approve it second, and then we can begin discussion on this? So would somebody like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Well, I'm sorry. Can I interrupt first to make sure? Okay, yeah. Kurt, does the motion include special conditions from the RWA?
I'll go through it quick. It's motion to approve with standard conditions. 1C, they have a bond for erosion control measures. Item 2, it's good for 1 year. Initially, they can come in for another year afterwards to do it. Item 4, that's a time.
I guess another way of asking it is, did we include, are we considering the RWA? They had three important things, I felt. So as long as it's included in this, that's all. Okay, good.
Yeah, without reading, I'll go through, there are special conditions. I'm going to scroll through them.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. That's all. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yep.
But item 15 and item 17. And
Gotcha.
then,
Good. Thank you.
okay.
And Kurt, if you can scroll back to the top.
I was. I'm trying.
Sorry, Trish, for interrupting.
No, that was good on that, Bill. Because I was going to ask the same question, but I let her read it first, and and then we go over the special conditions. But that's perfect.
Thanks.
Yep. All right, Trish, go ahead.
I just feel like so much more interrupting happens over like virtual, but it's not really interrupting. It's like a lag in, being able to see nonverbal cues. So no worry, Bill. I move to approve planning and zoning application 2021-1, temporary special use permit request under section 43, excavation, grading, removal, or filling, and section 23, schedule A, use line D1 for grading and placement of soil and fill on property located at Forest Road, Tutucket Mountain, and Forest Road Rare. Map 52A, lots 12 and 14, R80 zone, owner Tilcon Inc., applicant James Preddy, PE, Criscolo Engineering LLC, as described in the submitted application and shown on the following map and drawing. Proposed grading plan for overburdened soils, properties located at Forest Road, Rare, and Tutucket Mountain, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by Criscolo Engineering and dated January 4th, 2021, with the following standard conditions: 1C, 2, 4, 8, 9, 15, 17, and special conditions 22, 23, 24.
Thanks, Trish. Do you want to, Trish, if you could just read 22, 23, and 24 into the record? Perfect.
All conditions under zoning regulations, section 43.4 standards shall be adhered to. No screening, washing, crushing, etc. shall be performed on site. Hours of operation shall be conducted from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. There shall be no operation conducted on legal holidays, Saturdays, or Sundays.
Okay, perfect. Is there a second? Ron, Alex, Bill?
It takes a minute to come off of mute.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I second it.
Ron seconded it. Okay, perfect. Now we can have a discussion on this. All right. So, Bill, you're comfortable with the answer to the question you asked Kurt before we just did the vote? Are you good with that?
Yeah, if maybe I could just make a comment too.
Sure,
so,
please.
I totally appreciate and respect Meg's comments, and it sounds like she's got some really good environmental water hydrology background and experience. So I definitely considered that. But, for me, quite frankly, the Regional Water Authority, I think their core mission is like protecting the watershed. And for them to, be okay with this under the conditions listed really weighed with me, being the expert. I mean, that's what their core mission is. So I kind of really took their comments and being comfortable with this application into my decision-making tonight as well.
Perfect, Bill. Do we have any other discussion? Alex, Trish, Ron?
Yeah, I have to agree with Bill on that one. Because I was originally confused when we had the presentation and then the public comments and everything, and then Jim helped clarify that along with Kurt reading the regional water authority in, and Kurt's comments on the engineering aspect. That I think definitely the experts with the regional water authority on their side, but also to Kurt reassuring that this is a solid structure when keeping especially the environment in mind. That this has been carefully thought through, and just concurring with Bill.
Yeah, I just, similar to those comments, the reason why I'm a little bit more quiet is because it was fleshed out so thoroughly, and a lot of comments, public comments were responded to when we first visited this. So that's why I'm a little bit more quiet, and because the information was already there last time. And quick question, are we putting in the silk screening or no?
No, so that's
Okay.
right. It's my understanding it's the wood chips. Kurt, correct?
Wood chips, that's what's shown on the plan. And
Right.
Okay.
again, the important thing is that it be inspected and maintained. And
Okay.
that's part of the condition.
Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yep. Any other comments? Okay. So, Trish, since you made the motion, this is a roll call vote. So, your vote and your reason why.
The vote is yes. Reason why is just to continue to, support a business in a way that strikes the balance between supporting the business, but also protecting our town as best as we can.
Let's see. Who made the second? Ron, you made the second, correct?
Yes, I did.
Your vote and your reason, please.
I apologize for laughing because I wasn't sure if I was on mute or not. I voted yes, primarily because there were a lot of safeguards, things that I didn't even think of that will be watched by the Regional Water Authority. And I think the Regional Water Authority will be a partner with us on, watching this project.
All right. Alex?
Oh, yes. My reasons are the reason that Bill and I just stated before during the discussion, reiterating that Trish and Ron just said, with the Regional Water Authority working hard on this, the safeguards that were put in place.
Bill?
Yeah, I vote yes for the reasons stated earlier, agreeing with Alex. I think it's well thought out. And I really put a lot on the experts from the environmental analysts from the Regional Water Authority. That's kind of their core mission, to protect that watershed. And if they're okay with it, that kind of resonates with me. So I vote to approve.
And I also vote to approve. Same reasoning as Alex and Bill regarding Regional Water Authority and also the controls that are going to be put in place and the monitoring that will be going on. So that motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. So our next order of business is application 2021-3, and it's site plan 26 Mansfield Drive. So Kurt, if you want to lead the way on that one.
I think we can start off letting the applicant make a presentation.
Okay. Didn't know if there's anything you wanted to bring up first, but, so Jim, it's you again. Okay.
That's me. Okay, Jim Preddy, Crystal Engineering again, for the record. So this project is at the end of Mansfield Drive, basically where the cul-de-sac is. The only property passed is Totoket Woods. It's a 3.2 acre site that is zone B3. What we're looking to do is a small property maintenance facility. One of the main clients of the property maintenance facility would be the adjacent Totoket Woods. So it's a small building, 60 by 80 with some office space in it. Let me get the drawings on the screen here. How do we do this? You all see that?
No.
Not yet, no.
All right, that didn't work. Well, now.
There we go. Perfect.
All right, so this is the existing site. Again, here's the cul-de-sac from Mansfield Drive, and the road continues up into Totoket Woods. There is an existing dirt road here and some a little salt storage spot, but mostly unoccupied site. How do I switch? You see that?
Oh, it's the same. It's the same. Same plan.
It's.
I think.
You can see the building now.
No.
No.
All right. Try that again.
There we go.
Okay. So here's the 60 by 80 building. There will be an access drive that comes in from the cul-de-sac, just a narrow road. Some paved parking areas in the front so they can have a handicap parking spot and some doors into what'll be some office space and storage on this side. The rest of this is sort of garage space for vehicles and other equipment to store inside. A gravel area over here that will be have a fenced in storage yard, and then a space for a couple of dumpsters, which will be accessed basically off this road. One of the features of this property management company is that they will have a lease with the Totoket Woods company, the Totoket Woods development, so that the residents there will be able to come in and drop their garbage in the dumpsters here and then pull out. And this way they will be able to get rid of all the individual garbage cans that they have up in that facility now. The wetland that's shown up in the corner is actually uphill of our development, believe it or not. We are showing for stormwater runoff from the roof being infiltrated back in the ground over here, some concrete infiltrators. The pavement area down to this point here and a little more than half of this driveway will drain into a vegetated swale with a stone bottom, so that we could get the water back in the ground there. There isn't any storm drains in the road to tie into, so we're handling it on site. The building will have water and sewer connected to it, which is available in the cul-de-sac in Mansfield Drive. The WPCA has already approved the connection for the new building. And typical erosion controls along the edges of the site here and here. We did get a comment from RWA about typical, maintain erosion controls. The only additional comment was that the salt storage area, they would like to have concrete under instead of pavement, and they should cover the salt with, tarp when it's not being used or during rain events, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple maintenance building that you kind of see all over the place.
Jim, excuse me, I lost for a second. To your right, what is that? Totoket Woods? What is actually over there?
Totoket Woods. This is an apartment complex over here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I got you. Thank you.
So Jim, I have a question. What is this gravelled area going to be used for?
This area here it will be a fenced-in storage area, so they could put, it's a property management company. So if they have to, take some appliances out of a place and until they could get them to a scrapyard, and they need to have a place to take a gate off for materials. And then the other part of this is that there's a couple of dumpsters that will be placed along here in that area so that the cars can drive up here. The purpose of the drive is actually it's going to be raised about half the way up the dumpster so that the people that come out of here can come in and throw their trash in the dumpster without have to lifting it up the 5-foot height of the dumpster. And then drive back out.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Kurt, in the meantime, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I've got staff comments, and maybe I can just go through those quickly.
Sure.
Regional Water Authority, that's the big one. Letter dated February 2nd. My attention regarding 26 Mansfield Drive. And bear with me, I'll just read through it quickly. The Regional Water Authority has reviewed the above referenced proposal. The parcel is within the Farm River Public Water Supply watershed. The applicant is proposing to construct a building for a property maintenance business. The building will be heated with oil and connected to the municipal sanitary sewers. Wetlands are located in the north edge of the property. Stormwater will be directed from the roof to an infiltration gallery. The parking lot runoff will be directed to a grass swale. Based on the information submitted, we have the following comments. 1, erosion controls should be installed prior to any site work. Controls should be inspected weekly and after each rainfall. Additional controls should be stored on site for any necessary repairs. 2, the stormwater management system appears adequate. 3, heating fuel should be stored above ground. Fuel storage tanks and associated piping should be segregated from 4 drains with sump pumps to prevent spills and leaks from discharging to the environment. 4, all vehicle and equipment repair and maintenance should be conducted indoors on an impervious surface. There should be absolutely no discharges of motor vehicle fluids or detergent chemicals to the environment. Gasoline and other hazardous materials shall be located within a secondary containment system to prevent leaks from entering the environment, sheltered from precipitation, and in a secured area. Waste chemicals included but not limited to waste oil, antifreeze, transmission oil, lead acid batteries, and solvents should be stored indoors or outside on an impervious surface within a containment berm or other means of secondary containment. These materials should be disposed of by a licensed waste hauler in accordance with all applicable federal, state, and local regulations. Item 7, if vehicle washings are done on site, wash water should not be discharged to the environment. The facility should be operated in accordance with the requirements of Connecticut DEP. 8, the salt storage area should be covered to prevent rainwater from being contaminated. And lastly, number 9, the RWA should be notified at least 3 days prior to any site work. You should be given access to the site for routine inspections. I can be reached at rwaters@rwaters.com. That's the Water Authority. My comment was basically that they were going before WPCA for approval of sanitary sewer connection, which was approved on Tuesday night. Building Department comments are detailed construction documents submitted must show compliance with Connecticut State Building Code in effect at the time of the application. Zoning Enforcement Officer has no comments. Police Department has no comments. And that's it.
Thank you. Jim, can you put the plan back up, the last one you had?
Yep.
So you said there was going to be one area for outdoor storage, correct?
There's a fenced-in area here.
Right.
Yes.
So you said they might store some, appliances and different things out there.
Well, it's a temporary yard that they, if they have to lock stuff up, before it goes somewhere else, basically. If
But
they,
shouldn't it be
if they
covered?
bought materials that they needed to store, like siding or something, and they needed to put it somewhere until it gets used, that kind of thing. It'd be sort of a temporary.
Okay. But there's going to be the building itself is going to be enclosed, though.
The building will be enclosed, yes.
Okay.
To answer some of the other questions, some of the RWA questions were routine stuff about, storage of gasoline, that kind of thing. But to answer some of the questions, there will be no floor drains. Vehicle washing can be done off site. That's not an issue. And to my knowledge, the oil tank will be inside also, but above ground. So I don't think anybody buries them anymore.
As far as the building, what's it going to look like?
I do have. Hold on. See if I can get to that.
I mean, I do have some plans and some sketches. But like, what kind of materials and different things like that are going to be used on it?
Okay.
It looks like to me it's 2 stories, 2 floors. I mean,
High bay and part of it, and then the office part of it will have. So here's, you see that now?
yes.
Here's the first floor. This is garage area, which is high, high base ceiling. These are storage rooms for different things: furnace, the tile, paint, electric service, and one office here. And then on the second floor, there's provisions for a couple of offices and a conference room, hopefully if things go well. And then the rest of this is just open to below. So
Now, is that open for storage, or is that open for?
No, it's just open. It's cathedral ceiling over this area.
Okay, but what's going to be used for that? That's going to be for storage of.
This is where they would put vehicles inside.
Okay,
and
all right.
in like a workshop area kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And then, so this is what the building looks like. Just a couple of overhead doors, a couple of man doors, and some high windows. Just because it's kind of tucked in, we're trying to keep the security, risks at a minimum. Also.
Okay.
Is it a Butler building, like a metal building?
Yes.
Hard to tell. It is. Okay. Yeah.
So I could have missed this because my children are not listening very well tonight. They're not leaving me alone. They're quite fierce. The property maintenance, my head went to, I don't know why, for no reason. It went to landscaping and mowing. So what does property maintenance mean? Is it more, it's more like a general contracting business or?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, they may have some mowers that those will be stored inside, but if they got to go fix windows on a property that they're, have a contract with, or fix doors or siding or that type.
Okay. So this encompasses a whole host of support for a homeowner or business. Okay.
Right. But for the most part, everything would be stored inside. The fenced area is just for, like I said, temporary bulk storage areas, just someplace they could lock up.
Wait. Oh.
Just a couple of quick questions. I just got your internet connection is unstable. This is zone B3, correct?
Correct.
So it is allowed. I mean, is this building visible from the street?
Not very, and it would only be visible to the people passing, going in and out of Totoka Woods because it's at the end of a cul-de-sac. But it will be kind of tucked back, and we are going to plant some evergreen type trees along the front, basically to hide that dumpster drop-off area anyway. So you really won't see much of this building.
Yeah, the metal building does not have very much curb appeal.
No, they generally don't.
Question. Any proposed or any vision of doing work outside using tools or machinery that then affects, sound and quality of living of the people in Totucket Woods? How far is it? Or is that a non-issue because that is not going to happen, or maybe it happens? And
at this point, my understanding is there's none of that planned. The building is for a workshop area, so they could do the work inside.
Okay.
Is there any kind of barrier between this site and Totoket Woods to act as a barrier or screening?
Let me see if I can get back.
The only thing I'm thinking is the people looking off their back porch look directly into dumpsters. Or for all intents and purposes, a transfer station.
No, there's here we go. We are kind of carving out some tree areas here. So there is still, oh, wow, what's that? Wooded area all along here. So, you know, these buildings won't be able to really see. Well, certainly not in the summer. I don't know in the winter, but, and then along here, we're planting some evergreen type of trees here to kind of screen this whole operation from the driveway.
Now, is there is currently nothing there, correct?
There's currently just a sort of a dirt road and a salt storage area.
So my question is, how much in and out is coming out of this driveway, and is there enough line of sight? Because I know a lot of kids walk up this road to get to the bus. So I'm really concerned that I see the plantings, but there definitely needs to be enough line of sight to make sure, you know, they could see kids, and is the driveway in an appropriate spot for that?
Yeah, the driveway for the building, I believe, is absolutely an appropriate spot. The cul-de-sac probably gives you the best opportunity for traffic calming. But quite honestly, there's only going to be a handful of people working here, so it's not like a high traffic thing anyway.
Okay.
There's more parking spaces than we need, but zoning requires it. So
is it where customers could come to the business, or no? This is like
no. This is just a maintenance shop. I suppose, you know, if they were entertaining a contract with a new client, they do have a conference area, but it's not like regular people be coming off the street.
Okay. And then this little semicircle with the arrows, what's that?
And that's a one-way drive to basically they're having a contract with the apartment building here, so they could drive in and to bring their garbage and recyclables to dumpsters here and then drive back out. Right now they have all individual trash cans that are kind of all over the place up there, and this kind of resolves that.
All right. Just again, nervous about, again, real life looks different. Just the line of sight. If there's a tree or a planting there at the end of the one way, just that there's enough line of sight, you know, for kids walking. And there's a lot of kids that ride their bikes there. That's all.
Absolutely. We'll make sure they stay back far enough.
Any other questions by the commission? Jim, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I think between my presentation and the questions, I think we've covered everything.
All right. Kurt, do you have a motion we can take a look at?
I have a draft motion.
Yeah, please.
Give me a minute and I'll I can do it.
All right, that's a standard. Is there any special conditions on this one?
The last condition is item 17, which is the important one.
Okay.
It's a standard regional water authority. Let's see.
Including their letter.
In compliance.
Right.
adhering to the RWA letter.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so would somebody like to make a motion? Trish?
I'll do it. I'm just feeling super confident tonight.
I'm not putting pressure on you.
The only pressure is if my kids are just having a night. If you hear any craziness, do not judge. I make a motion to approve the planning and zoning application 2021-3 site plan request under section 23, schedule A, line C2, office and accessory uses for construction of a new building for property maintenance, business and associated storage, associated site work, parking, stormwater, infrastructure, landscaping and lighting at 26 Mansfield Drive. Assessor map 62B, lot 29C, zone B3, owner Totucket Woods Development, LLC, applicant James Preddy, Criscola Engineering, LLC. As contained in submitted application documents and shown on plans entitled property located at 26 Mansfield Drive, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by Criscola Engineering, LLC, containing the following sheets. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Can I just say sheet 1 through 3?
Yes, you can. Yep.
Thank you.
With a date, but just make sure you say December 10th.
Okay,
Yeah,
sheet 1 dated December 10th, 2020. Sheet 2 dated May 21st, 2020. Sheet 3 dated December 10th, 2020. And the next category of sheets, maintenance building, 26 Mansfield Drive, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by Robert Mangino, architect, containing the following sheets. Sheet A1 dated November 22nd, 2020. And sheet A2 dated November 22nd, 2020, with the following standard conditions: 1C, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 17. There are no special conditions.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Who's that? Is that Bill?
Bill.
Okay. Trish, just a point. Your kids probably say the same thing about us every other Thursday. There's a bunch of crazy people on my mom's computer.
Pretty much, they super nosy and they're like, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?"
Yeah.
And usually when I
Okay.
give them look of death, they leave, but not tonight.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We understand. That's the new normal. Kids in the background, dogs barking. People ringing the doorbell. So, is there any discussion on this application? Ryan, looks like you're about to say something, but you are on mute. There you go.
Yeah, the only thing that has taken me back is the fact that there's no curb appeal. It looks like a steel building, which isn't very attractive in any part of town, and it doesn't look very New Englandy. And I mean, you could put lipstick on a pig, but it's. I really would like to see this thing dressed up a little bit. I mean, the pictures I've seen is a steel building, very little curb appeal, with a line of dumpsters, and it reminds me of a transfer station. I mean, it doesn't look like a maintenance facility. It looks like a transfer station, and that's a personal opinion that I see it. Up front, I'd like to see, a prettier facade, or curb appeal, or something nice. That's me.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, Ron, the only thing we can do at this point is, I don't know what we can do. Because when we have the discussion with the applicant, that's the time to bring it up. We're making a motion to vote on it. So we either vote yes or no. So if we vote no, I don't even know what happens after that. If we vote yes, then it's as is. So I don't know. So we can't make changes to it at this point, unless we deny, I guess, deny it without, I mean,
Jim, is there any good faith effort you can make to talk to the applicant about this? Anything you can think of that could help to Ron's cause and be maybe not so cost burden on you, but
I can talk to the applicant and Bob Mangino and see if they could come up with something, multiple colors or something, something that, we are putting lipstick on a pig, like you said, but it is a utilitarian building because that's what the use is. And again, I think we're going to be screening it pretty well from the road. So I don't think it's going to be, and it is set back off of the road. So I don't think it's going to be a very eye drawing installation anyway.
Look, I'd like to see, screening and stuff like that. And we're talking good faith here. Now we're not, that's why I asked B3, you're allowed to do this, but,
good
pretty it up a little bit.
Sure.
Yep.
any other discussions? All right, seeing none. Trish, since you made the motion, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ron? Or whoever seconded that, was it Bill?
I second it. Yeah, I vote yes.
Ron?
Yeah, I'm going to vote yes too.
Okay. Alex?
Yes.
And I'm going to vote yes as well, so it passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
Just as a side, I want to thank you folks for having a meeting just for me tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going to say, we just need a stamp with the title of your business on it.
There you go.
Did you bring the donuts? Did you bring
Thank you.
donuts?
So I didn't know if I could speak before, but I am the applicant on the last one. And Ron, I apologize for not calling you by your last name because I don't know, it's not on the screen. But I will definitely take a look to see what we could do to dress up that building to take your concerns into account.
Yeah,
We always want the applicant to speak. Everybody's more than welcome to speak. In case you come in front of us.
It was
again.
after the fact that I didn't know if I should interrupt. I was trying to chat with Kurt, but I'm not sure it got through apparently. But
Okay.
that's right. So, but yeah, I'll take it into. I'm Len Fasano, but I'll take it into account as we look at
I thought you were Len Fasano. That looks like Len Fasano.
it.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Jim and Len, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Stay
Thanks,
well,
John.
everybody.
Guys.
Thanks, Kurt, for your help.
Anytime, Len.
So Kurt, it's the interim. See, the agenda is incorrect. It says town planner's report. It should say interim, right? Town planner?
Acting.
Acting?
More of an actor.
Okay, so acting town planner's report.
Nothing new coming up that I'm aware of for the upcoming meeting. I mean, the good news is, and Harry participated, where we interviewed for replacements for the town planner position. So hopefully the process is moving forward and trying to get a resolution to the vacancy as soon as possible.
Kurt, so February 18th, what's on the, I think you mentioned it today that you think we can cancel, there's nothing.
And I think we can cancel that that was my plan. If nothing's on it, not to have a meeting, and the thought was it's on these, it's already scheduled, but probably a week before we'll know, and then with your concurrence, we can just issue a cancellation notice for it.
All right. How about for March 4th?
No, I'm not aware of anything.
Okay. So we'll wait to see you send out a cancellation, at least for the 18th, and then we'll see about the 4th.
Yeah, we'll just see
Okay.
what comes in or not.
Okay. Yeah, and I just have one comment. When we're reviewing a site plan, this is I'm just going to this constructive criticism. The times to ask if you have concerns, whatever it may be, is when we're reviewing the site plan. once we start to move into a vote, we can't ask for changes because it's either a yes or no. Now, Kurt, maybe you can help us on this and maybe find out how we can pull back a motion to go back and have a discussion. But as I know, or as best as I know, once we start the voting process, we can't make, I mean, we can make changes, but we can't go back and discuss it with the applicant because it's our discussion at this point. So,
I would think someone would have to withdraw their second, withdraw their motion, but that's an awkward time to do it. I
Right.
totally concur, while the applicant is making their presentation and you're looking at, that's the time to bring it up.
And I just say, any concerns you have, even the smallest ones, when we're having discussion, let's pull them out to a point because it'll make the whole process better. Because, like I said, then you'd have to pull something back and go through that. So it's happened a couple times, and we should do a better job as a team, is making sure we iron these out. And if we want a few minutes to look at it, because some of these move kind of quickly, especially these, just site plans. We could take a time out to review the plans, so if we want to take a minute to, look things over and slow it down a little bit, I'm all for that, or whatever suggestions you may have. So that's just my comment. So other than that, I am going to turn it over to the acting last motion of the night person, and that's Ron. You're not on mute.
Oh, you were breaking up. I apologize. You were breaking up. I'm having difficulties. Yeah, yet again, the internet connection is unstable. Well, Mr. Chairman, I realize this is the inappropriate time to bring this up, but I'm going to do it anyway because I do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, February 14th is in 10 days. Don't forget it.
Oh, I was like, what?
What's the 14th?
Why is he singling out the men? There's one
Hallmark Day.
Because we don't think of things like anniversaries, birthdays.
Well, I'm hoping somebody can help me out. Ron, I think I know what the 14th is. I might, but my anniversary somewhere the end of February, and I'm not sure the exact date, but I think it's about 30 years. Could somebody call my wife and ask her what the date is so I don't forget? I think it's the 22nd.
You better not forget.
It's the 20. She just yelled over. She said it's the 23rd. So I'm all set. You don't have to give her a call. So, yeah.
Okay, that being said, I motion we adjourn.
Ron, thank you very much. Who seconded that, Trish?
I did.
Ron, how do you vote?
We got to vote on the.
Yeah, of course. We can't leave. There could be a filibuster going on.
Janet's like, oh my God, let me out of here.
Come on, Ron.
Do I have to vote, or do could I possibly abstain?
I'm with you, Janet.
Ron voted yes. Trish?
Yes.
Alex? Bill?
Yes.
Yes. I vote yes. Everybody have a good night. Thank you very much. And
everybody.
We'll wait for your to find out for the next meetings. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care, everyone. Bye.